Hello, I'm Johnny, and today's topic is the conflict between Rudy Gobert and his teammate. The Suns played the Clippers, the Warriors played the Kings, and the Lakers, even though they have to play in the play-in tournament, seem to be doing fine.
No vest.
Today is the last day of the regular season, and the top 10 teams in the East and West have been determined. The league will now move on to the play-in tournament, which features exciting, do-or-die games. Since the rankings have been determined, we'll be making videos analyzing playoff matchups in the future, so please support us. Before we move on to the next topic, please like and share our video. Your support is our biggest motivation. Thank you. Let's first talk about the Rockets, who have already parted ways with head coach Stephen Silas. They are currently pursuing coaching candidates such as Ime Udoka, the former head coach of the Celtics, Frank Vogel, the former head coach of the Lakers, and Nick Nurse, the current head coach of the Raptors. It should be noted that Stephen Silas may continue to stay with the Rockets as an assistant coach. The Rockets' poor record of only 17 wins, 20 wins, and 21 wins respectively in the past 3 seasons led to Silas being let go, which is understandable. The question now is how the new coach will use Alperen Sengun, who is a tall player with great passing skills. Players like Nikola Jokic of the Nuggets and Domantas Sabonis of the Kings are also similar players who serve as engines for their teams. Moving on to the Mavericks, they have already begun their off-season. They lost to the Bulls in a recent game, with Luka Doncic playing only 13 minutes, and other key players like Kyrie Irving not playing at all. The coach Jason Kidd said in a media interview that resting the key players was a decision made by the front office. However, there is news that the league will investigate this decision. Luka Doncic also expressed his dissatisfaction with this decision. There seem to be many internal problems with this team, and while I personally support their decision to end the season, it was done too late, and the handling of the situation was too rough. The front office should take responsibility for this. Moving on to the Lakers, they have signed Shaquille Harrison and Tristan Thompson, while releasing Devon Reed. Harrison, a 6 feet 4 inches guard with experience, is a backup player for the Lakers' crowded backcourt. However, I think the signing of Tristan Thompson is excellent. In a recent game against the Clippers, we saw that without Anthony Davis, the Lakers struggled without a final line of defense. While Mo Bamba, who was injured, can now return, his lack of experience may be a problem. Therefore, adding a player like Tristan Thompson, who has championship experience, is a great addition for the Lakers. Finally, let's talk about the game between the Timberwolves and the Pelicans. Despite both teams having a record of 42 wins and 40 losses, the Timberwolves had the tiebreaker over the Pelicans, so they finished in 8th place, while the Pelicans finished in 9th place. The most talked about players in the game were the 2 Timberwolves players, Kyle Anderson and Gobert. They got into an argument on the sidelines, and Gobert even made a motion towards Anderson. After the game, Gobert apologized and admitted that he had trouble controlling his emotions. Anderson brushed it off and said they would move forward. However, according to reporters, they argued very fiercely in the locker room. The team's defensive lock, Jaden McDaniels, injured his hand when he punched a wall while walking back to the locker room. He only played for 9 minutes in the game, and there is no update on his injury yet. If you think the Timberwolves situation is all there is, you are wrong. Gobert could be suspended by the league, and the Timberwolves will face the Lakers in the play-in game in 2 days. If Gobert is suspended, McDaniels cannot play, and backup center Naz Reid was injured recently, then the Timberwolves' team strength will be greatly reduced. However, the good news is that the Timberwolves are currently in 8th place, which means they have to win 2 games in a row to avoid being eliminated. Moving on to the Pelicans, they will face the Thunder in the play-in game. Although the Pelicans have a chance to win at home, they should be careful of SGA, whose scoring ability is no joke. The question is whether the Pelicans can make it to the playoffs. Fat Tiger will not only miss the play-in game, but there is no guarantee he will play in the playoffs either. The team is very protective of him, and he has only played 10 games this season along with Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum. So, unless the Pelicans can go further, it's understandable to let Fat Tiger rest. Moving on to the Lakers, they faced the Jazz and won the game 128-117, but it wasn't an easy win. They were only ahead by 4 points after 3 quarters, and it was only in the 4th quarter that they pulled ahead with an 8-0 run by AD and LBJ. After the win, the Lakers' record is 43-39, but the Warriors and Clippers both won their games, which means they both have 44 wins this season, and the Lakers are now 7th. They will face the Timberwolves in the play-in game, and in my opinion, it's not a bad result to be 7th, especially since they can avoid the Nuggets and the Suns in the first round. Moving on to the Warriors, they faced the Blazers and won the game 157-101. They have won 3 games in a row and have a record of 8-2 in their last 10 games. Klay Thompson made 6 3-pointers in the game, and he now has over 300 3-pointers this season, which is the first time in his career. In NBA history, only 3 players have made over 300 3-pointers in a season: Stephen Curry, James Harden, and Klay Thompson. However, Curry is the only one who has made over 400 3-pointers in a season. Moving on to the Clippers, they won against the Suns with Kawhi Leonard and Russell Westbrook leading the team. Although it wasn't an easy win, the Suns played without their 4 main starters. They will face the Suns in the first round, and it's exciting to see how it will play out. We also have to observe when Paul George will return to the court. Lastly, in the Eastern Conference, the Heat, ranked 7th, will face the Hawks. I think the Heat have a chance to win, and I support the Raptors over moving on to the Eastern Conference. The Miami Heat, who are currently in the 7th seed, will face the Atlanta Hawks in the play-in tournament. In my opinion, the Heat have a good chance of winning this game. As for the matchup between the Toronto Raptors and the Chicago Bulls, I personally support the Raptors. I hope they can secure the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. Otherwise, if it's the Hawks or the Bulls who become the 8th seed, I don't think it will be too much trouble for the Milwaukee Bucks. So I would rather see the Raptors face off against the Bucks.